Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 394. Now, I gotta be honest, this episode did not do what I was expecting it to, because for those of you who may have missed my last review, I thought that we were gonna have the sisters a lot longer than we did. I thought it was gonna be like, okay, there are 7 sisters total. Of course, he ends up killing one at the end of the last episode. So that leaves 6 girls. There are 8 episodes left, because the last episode was 2. So I was like, alright, after the last episode, there's 8 more episodes, there's 6 more girls. They could skip an episode or so, and then he kills off one of the girls, like, per episode. They keep coming after him, and they just lose and lose and lose until it gets down to Ashi, where she fights him before, like, the last episode, or something like that, like, at least close. Maybe not, like, the episode right before the last, but something like that, where it's, like, he finally finishes that, and then there are 2 episodes of, like, him officially dealing with Haku. And then, this episode comes along, and it starts off, first off, it's really cool, because I mentioned the wolf was probably going to come back. I didn't really know if it would be, like, you know, this episode, like the very next episode, or if it would be, like, kind of later down the line. But I love the way they did it. The visuals for the episode were absolutely phenomenal. Like, they're always great. It's Samurai Jack. But this one, especially the scene when the wolf first shows up, because it's Jack, and it's, like, jet black, but all his blood is, like, glowing red. It was almost like some Tron type stuff, or, like, just the way the lines looked and everything. They were, like, really sharp, like, dashes and things like that. And I was like, that looks absolutely amazing. Like, it's just jet black, but all you see is, like, the blood on him. And it was really good. It was a really great opening with the visuals, and then him being with the wolf, and the wolf shows up, and the wolf from the last episode is very wounded. Jack is very wounded, and so they bond from their parallel journeys from the last episode. They're able to bond and recuperate in this one, where Jack is in the cave first, and then the wolf shows up. The wolf is a little bit stronger than Jack because, of course, he's been stabbed. So the wolf ends up getting food. Jack's able to cook it, so they split the food. They share warmth because Jack ends up laying down with the wolf, or the wolf actually kind of curls up to him so that he can stay warm. And the wolf, like, licks his wounds and stuff, and then he throws water on the wolf and be like, you know, you have your way of healing stuff, I have my way, and, you know, using water and stuff. So it's very cool the way they did it. And eventually, you know, they're both kind of back at full strength, and they kind of, you know, they part their ways. And so the wolf goes off on his journey to do whatever. And, of course, Jack goes on, and the girls are following him. So they track him down because he was just like a little raft in the beginning, just floating on top of the water. So they're able to, you know, find his blood, and they're tracking him down. Even that was pretty cool, the visuals they used for that, and how it was just them, you know, swimming in formation, or, you know, I think it was like how they did it with, like, 4 of the girls were in the water, and the other 2 girls were, like, on top of the bridge. And it was like, you know, there's blood on this rock, like, let's follow the river, and the 2 girls just jump in behind him and stuff. It looked really cool, so I love the visuals just for them, you know, tracking him down. And of course, early on in the episode, before he even sees the wolf, he's going through this really mental struggle where, of course, he killed someone. It's the first human that he's actually ever killed. So it's a really big deal to him, and we actually get a little flashback of, you know, baby Jack, where he sees his father, like, who clearly doesn't take any crap. Like, those people were like, you know, we killed your man and now we're gonna kill you. And his dad went out there, it's like boom, 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 and he, like, sliced the dude in half, and the blood just splattered all over Jack's eyes. And I was like, wow, his dad didn't really F around. So we get a flashback to that and who his father was and who Jack is now, and how, you know, especially with these extra 50 years, how things have just shifted, and now he's finally actually taken a human life. But he knows that he has to do that after suffering from it the first time. He knows that he has to do that in order to stop this great evil that, of course, is Haku. So I really love the way it played out, and it got really gruesome. I mean, I wasn't expecting him to kill all those girls, and I'm pretty sure not all of them died, especially considering, you know, Jack fell and he lived to be in the next episode. I do believe Ashi is still going to be the last girl, so maybe they'll take a break and the rest of the season will be, you know, him just on random adventures trying to survive and stuff, and then she will show up, you know, towards the end of the season. But I thought for sure it was going to be like, there's 7 girls, you know, they'll drop one by one throughout some of the episodes, they'll take a break, he'll be able to escape from them, or, you know, something random happens and, you know, they just can't find him for an episode or 2, and then they come back, they catch up to him, and he just keeps taking them down one by one. I didn't think it was going to be like this, where he's just like, there's 6 girls left, and he's just like, you're done, you're done. I mean, he impaled, like, the first girl. Once again, amazing visuals with the snow, and it gets so snowy, everything is white except for the characters. So you don't even see the trees, it's just white backgrounds and characters just kind of popping in and out of nowhere. It was really cool. And he just spears the first girl, so she gets killed. they all pull out their weapons and stuff, and so he's fighting back and forth. He's taking them down. Um, just one by one, he's taking these girls down, and then it gets to him being on like the log, and they have to fight them one by one, which came after a really awesome sequence where it was like just the three girls left, and they almost like fused together to make like this Aku looking sort of thing. So that was very cool. And they're using their weapons like in tandem and stuff, and he's able to separate them, where it's like they can only fight one at a time on this log. And so he kills the first girl, sends her off the cliff. The second girl, he punches so hard he shatters the mask, and she just spirals to her death, I guess. And then with Ashi, they have like a little back and forth where they're on the chain and stuff, and he's able to actually escape. And she falls, and then of course the branch falls, so he falls with her. And I just thought it was great. I was like, I did not expect him to kill all those girls. So, at this point, I believe Jack is alive. Obviously, Jack is alive, but Jack, Ashi, and maybe her sister, the one that he punched, she passed out. Like she just passed out. Like he didn't actually stab her like he did the first girl. Because if I remember right, he stabbed her in the stomach and then she fell down. But the second girl, he just punched super hard. She fainted and she fell off. So she could be alive as well. So there could be two girls left, and then it'll go down to just Ashi, I would assume, towards the end. But it was a great episode. Once again, Samurai Jack is always going to be great. But the visuals were absolutely phenomenal. I thought the visuals were great last time. I thought it was like just really cool how they did it. But the visuals in this were just insane. Like the part, like I said, with him in the cave and it's just jet black and all you see is like the blood and stuff. The part where it's snowing like crazy and so everything is white except for the characters and they're like, popping in and out of nowhere. The action was really intense. Like I said, it was pretty bloody, and the way he was taking them out, because like the way it started, I thought, okay, he's gonna be like, fine, I'll have to fight you girls. I didn't think he had a weapon at the ready, and then just boom, out of nowhere, he spears the first girl, and then he speared someone else. He speared like two of the girls, and that's how they both died. I was like, man, that's just insane how it looks. But it was a really, really great episode. It's very intense, and now he's seemingly, based on the promo, like trapped inside of some monster or something like that, because it seemed like he was in like the stomach almost, and there's a pit of acid, so he has to find his way out. And I think he'll have a little bit of rest from the girls attacking him, but I do think, if not Ashi, or if not just Ashi, at least her and her sister are alive. But Ashi for sure, I'm pretty sure survived that one if Jack could. So I know we at least got one girl that's still going to be coming after him, but I think we're going to get a break from the girls for quite some time, because it'll either be Ashi by herself or Ashi and one of her sisters, and they'll have to figure out how to recuperate and really go at him if it's just the two of them. If they couldn't take him on 6 at a time, they're going to have to figure that out, like how do we do it where it's just the two of us. So I'm excited to see where we're headed. We also got a good moment early on in the episode with the girls where they see the deer, and they see the deer and then they see the stag, and it was pretty cool because they thought it was like, oh, they saw the antlers and they're like, oh, it has to be one of Aku's minions. It's gonna like destroy the weaker one, and then of course they just kiss, and it was interesting. Or it's the doe and stag, not deer and stag. That's both deer. But they just end up kissing, and it was pretty funny. They're like, what in the world is going on? Like, I don't understand this, because they just assumed, with the antlers, it had to be related to Aku or one of Aku's like great minions or something like that. And I was like, that's pretty awesome, because they knew nothing, of the outside world. So I really enjoyed that. I was like, that's just a cool little moment for them to have for these characters. But it was a great episode. Definitely much more intense than I was expecting. I was like, wow, he like destroyed these girls, and we'll see where it goes from here. Like I said, it's, Ashi for sure, I'm going to assume has survived. If Jack can do it, then, why kill off some really great villains? Even though they've only been, in these last couple episodes, they've only been introduced in the, within the first 3 episodes. But they've already been such great villains just in these 3 episodes. Technically the last 2, this one and the last one. Then in the first one they were just training, so they weren't really the villains yet. But they're such entertaining characters, and they're so powerful, it makes for... Well, I mean, in this one, he kind of went all out on them, because it was like, they're just robots, and he was kind of underestimating them. And then it's like, okay, they're humans, so they have the ability to, have the skills that I have. And he knew he had to go, like, up to 100 and just, like, wipe them all out. So, they were still great villains, entertaining to watch, him being challenged and stuff like that, but... Man, I hope they aren't all gone. I hope at least Ashi is alive. At least just that one sister just to have like a final showdown or something, because they were great in these last 2 episodes. And we got to see some really insane stuff. I don't know how they're gonna do it because I assume he's gonna go back to fighting like a bunch of robots. It'll be weird. It'll be like, man, this is super calm compared to him like impaling girls and like cutting their throats and crap like that. So we'll see what happens as far as like how intense it is, from here on until we get back to Ashi and her sister, if both of them ended up surviving. But this was definitely a great episode. It was gory. Well, I shouldn't say gory, but with it being Samurai Jack, if I see blood, I think gore, because Samurai Jack is always like oil or whatever. But it was like actual blood in this, people getting impaled and stuff like that. It's pretty intense for it to, being Samurai Jack to me. It feels really intense because it's like, oh wow, that's wouldn't have got that years ago when it was just Cartoon Network. But it's Toonami versions, and then you get to have blood now, so it was really awesome. But great visuals, great action. Can't wait to see where we go next with him seemingly trapped inside some monster. He also had like a little bit of armor in the promo too, like some makeshift armor, which he took right off to throw into the acid. So I was like, oh, I guess he didn't really need it that bad. But I'm excited for the next episode. But of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I actually want to know if you believe that Ashi and her sister survived. I personally believe that at least Ashi did. It's really hard to say if they'll make it where both the girls live, but I would like to see that where it's Ashi and her sister and it's just two left, and then that makes it a bit more dramatic where it's like, alright, we both survived, we'll find a way to recuperate and we'll make up a plan to take on Jack, and then the plan fails and only Ashi is left. I would personally like that better, just because she's the only character that's really had any sort of emotion or anything out of the sisters, so it's just a simple way to add a little bit more character, because there's only 10 episodes anyway. So, I don't expect it to go above and beyond for like character development for her. I assume she's gonna die. Like I do personally feel she's gonna be like the sub boss before Jack eventually gets to Aku at the end. But I would love it personally if Ashi and her sister survived the fall, the one who got knocked out. I would love it if both of them made it, and then that's when it came down to just Ashi. Like, she sees her last sister die, and it's like, crap, I'm the last one. How do I, make this work? So I personally think that it would just be better. It's really hard to say though if they both made it. I do believe Ashi for sure is alive. I don't believe she actually died, but it's really hard to say with her sister if she actually made it, because you never know. I didn't see blood from them. Everybody else died and there was blood involved. So I'm pretty sure Ashi and her sister survived. If I had to choose one, I would say they both survived, just to have them both come back as villains and then cut it down to just Ashi. But we'd love to know what you guys thought about it. Did Ashi survive on her own, or is it Ashi and one of her sisters now? We'd love to know what you think. Do you really think they both died, maybe? I personally just really don't think they would kill off Ashi like that, just because of what they did with her character. And she even speaks again in this episode. A lot of the girls do in this one. But, she has a line at the end where she wants him to die and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, it was just kind of interesting to hear her say that. It was like a childish moment almost too, just the way she was speaking, because it was just, this is what they were born to do. And that's pretty much it. It was like, you're bad. And she was saying like, die you scum and stuff like that. So it was just a pretty interesting moment. But we'd love to know how many of the girls do you think survived, which is options are like 1 or 2, maybe 3. We don't, I guess their sister could potentially have survived. But how many of the girls do you think survived in the end? And of course, I want to know what you guys thought about the episode in general, so please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.